Greetings, listeners. I'm Linda, and I'm encouraging people to work for and pray for marine parks and protected areas. And right now I'm focusing on the United States and especially the whole West Coast, because we sure have a lot of great places that can be expanded to the older original kelp beds, for example, and seagrass beds, and they're on charts. So if you want to know more about that, look at the Puget Sound Restoration Fund, FUND. So they have a video that does show where some of the charts are about the kelp beds, and that you can give them money to increase that whole the work that they're doing. Now, what I'm saying is a little different than what they're doing. Some of their research, they've been farming with the kelp, growing it on the surface, on cords, on ropes. But my vision is let's keep working towards kelp forests, recultivating, refurbishing what the original kelp beds were. And I've learned in the Northwest around Washington coastline that the seagrass, it's called eelgrass, that is maybe even more prevalent than the kelp forests. So, and I don't know if everyone's calling them kelp forests, but we might as well. And kelp grows 2 feet a day. And so think of this kind of oxygen that's so great. The Restoration Fund, Puget Sound Restoration Fund people have learned that when they've done the research, it de-acidifies the area as it's growing. So that is so great news, really great news. And if we really focus on the West Coast, we might help to get our starfish in better condition again. Very sad, the virus that hit the starfish, where they were just coming apart, basically. Really sad for all the youth and children in the area who had grown up like my son and daughter, seeing the little creatures and then hearing that kind of news is very disheartening. So we really need to give more heartening information to our youth. Okay, so I've also learned that oyster cultivation purifies. So that can be, they could have that on lines that are anchored, so they're going vertically. So that's going to purify the water there, and it's a great, really great beneficial food for people, especially as we realize zinc helps our immune system. Okay, then this not only the jobs related to oyster cultivation, but there can be ecotourism jobs. There could just even be on the coastlines. People might be able to see in a little hut with the a screen. You might be able to see diver going and showing you what's the update on the growth of the kelp forest or seagrass, and so people could also dive and look at it. So that's the type of tourism. Then there's also, people might want to sponsor an area of a kelp forest, and a whole group, like in a company, could work together, and that could be their kelp forest, and they might go visit it. So this is just some hopeful things. Let's get our mind thinking, what do we want to see happen in our world, and really work for it. Yeah, and very important, we have the Antiquities Act, and that act, I believe it was Theodore Roosevelt that signed, and they made that act under his presidency, where he could protect some places, for historical monuments. Like there were areas of land that have Native American dwellings on it in the Southwest, and so areas were protected just with the stroke of a pen of the president. Well, I think that we could get these marine areas protected that way. So this could happen really easily if our president, current administration, or whatever presidential administration we have, we ask them. Yeah, and so this also there was a concern this year in 2021 that the orcas showed up late. Why did they show up late in near the islands off the coast of Washington State? And these one person who works around marine biologists thought that these having more kelp beds would help us have more fish, and that might just help the whole ecosystem so that the orcas will come on time. And there is also a need for cleaning the ocean, because there is that problem of the orcas having been they found pollutants in the orcas. So that's something else to pray for and work for. Thanks for listening.